Okay, so I have a bunch of smartphones here. The iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, the S7 Edge, and also the Google Pixel XL. And I've actually done a quick charging speed test on all of these phones. So in case you haven't seen that, and in case you want to see which phone has the fastest quick charging, definitely check out this video. But in this one, I want to see which one has the best battery life, which one would actually last you longer on a typical day of use. So grab some milk or whatever you want to grab, snacks related, obviously, and enjoy. Now, before starting this test, I made a few adjustments to keep everything fair. So I've turned airplane mode on all of the devices, Bluetooth and cellular is off, Wi-Fi is on, do not disturb mode is also on, silent mode is on, and I've tried adjusting the brightness to about the same level on all of these devices. They obviously have different brightness levels, different light output in their displays, and I've tried adjusting that to a similar brightness level. Then screen auto lock is off, and I've also closed all the apps running in the background. Now, I do want to mention that there is a display resolution difference between these phones. So the S8 Plus, the S7 Edge, and also the Google Pixel XL, they have pretty high resolution displays. So to keep things fair, I've actually turned the S8 Plus and the S7 Edge to Full HD, and the S8 Plus to Full HD Plus, instead of Quad HD. So I've decreased the resolution in order to make them a bit more comparable to the iPhones. Now the Pixel XL is running at Quad HD, since you cannot actually decrease the resolution on this. Well, not unless you root the device. If you root it, you can decrease the resolution, but I'm just gonna keep it Quad HD on the Pixel and close to 1080p on every single one of them. Now, another thing that I want to mention is the battery size. So all of these phones have a different battery size. So the iPhone 8 has 1821 milliamp hours, the iPhone 8 Plus has 2691, the iPhone 7 Plus has 2900 milliamp hours, the Pixel XL has 3450, the S8 Plus has 3500, and finally the S7 Edge has 3600 milliamp hours. So in conclusion, the S7 Edge should actually last the longest, and the iPhone 8 should actually die first. Now, disclaimer, not all of these phones have a fresh battery. The iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus, they do have a fairly new battery because I've received them about 2 to 3 weeks ago, but the iPhone 7 Plus, the S7 Edge, and the Pixel XL, they've all been used for, on almost a daily basis, for about 1 year each. And the S8 Plus, by the way, has been used for about 6 months. So definitely do keep this in mind. Okay, so what do most people usually do on their smartphones each day? That's the question. Well, number one, a lot of reading, a lot of social media reading, a lot of social media posts, reading news. As long as you are reading text on the screen, it counts as reading and not watching. So that's the first test that I'm going to do, a reading test. Then the second test that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some photos and videos and see how that would affect battery life, because people take videos or photos each day, and then most people watch YouTube videos on their smartphones, like maybe this video that you're watching right now. Let me know in the comments if you're watching it on mobile or desktop, by the way, and on which device. That would be pretty interesting to see. So a video playback test on YouTube, I'm also going to do that, followed by, of course, gaming. Now, not a lot of people, not everyone games on their phone every day, but some people do, so let's begin all the tests. Okay, so starting off with the reading test, I'm going to open up BBC, the BBC app on all of these phones, and I'm going to open up the first article, and I'm going to leave this page open for 2 hours. Now, 2 hours, I know, it might seem like a lot, but this is what most people do every day on their smartphones. So they read social media or a news article, or they read blog posts, and so on. And by the way, as you can see, the Pixel 2 and the S7 Edge are already at 97% battery life, and the S8 is at 99%, and all of them are actually dropping a few percentages, except for the iPhones, which still seem to be at 100%. But let's take a look and see if this trend would actually follow throughout the entire video or not. Now, I actually had to keep tapping on the Samsung phone's display since they were actually turning off every 10 minutes. That's, by the way, the maximum you can set on Samsung phones. Now, on the Pixel, you have 30 minutes of screen countdown time until the display turns off if you have no activity on the display. And on the iPhones, you can actually set this to always on, so you can set it to never turn off, which is pretty useful for these kinds of tests. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward these 2 hours, and yes, I literally had to set a timer every 10 minutes in order to tap the Samsung's display. So it was really, really difficult to do, and yeah, 2 hours have passed, and here are the results. So the iPhone 8 went to 74%, the iPhone 8 Plus got to 72%, the iPhone 7 Plus 64%, the Pixel XL 70%, the S8 Plus 81%, and the S7 Edge 75%. So whoa, it seems that the S8 Plus, even though it started discharging first, it actually got the highest score, followed by the S7 Edge, followed by the iPhone 8, not the 8 Plus, very interesting, the Pixel XL, and then the iPhone 7 Plus, which actually had the worst battery so far. Next up, we have the photos test. So for this one, I'm going to record a 10-minute 4K clip. Reason why I'm doing 10 minutes, by the way, is because you can't actually record more than 10 minutes on Samsung devices. They're limited to 10 minutes. On the other ones, not even on a Pixel, you don't have a recording limit, but on Samsung you do. So 10 minutes, that's where when I'm going to stop the video. And by the way, 4K 30 is what I'm going to use on all of them. So on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, you can do 4K 60, but I've actually disabled, obviously, 4K 60 to keep them consistent. And I've also disabled HEVC encoding. So H.264 is what we have on all the iPhones and all devices for consistency purposes. Now, there's no way I can actually start all of them at the same time. So I'll be stopping each device individually once they actually reach the 10-minute mark. And I'm going to fast forward this, and 10 minutes have passed, and these are the results. So iPhone 8 51%, iPhone 8 Plus 52%, iPhone 7 Plus 39%, the Google Pixel XL 47%, the S8 Plus 67%, and the S7 Edge 62%. So it seems that the S8 Plus is still in the lead, followed by the S7 Edge, and the iPhone 8 Plus actually took the lead from the iPhone 8. So 52% versus 51% on the iPhone 8, followed by the Pixel XL, and finally the iPhone 7, which is already at 39%. Whoa. Now keep in mind that the iPhone 7 Plus, interesting enough, it does have a larger battery than the iPhone 8 Plus. Oh, and by the way, the iOS 11 glitches returned. So it seems that the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus are actually stuck on this really low brightness, which is not the case with the iPhone 8. So I cannot really, even if I bump the brightness, it stays at about 50%, so I cannot turn it back on. I've managed to fix it by restarting the devices, and now I've actually left all of these phones in sleep mode for around 15 to 20 minutes after each test, by the way, in order to test out the standby time. So now let's move on to the next test, which is a video playback test. Okay, so I'm going to start playing this 24-hour long YouTube video, and I'm going to leave it playing for 1 hour. Now, I know 1 hour might seem a bit too much for most people in a day when it comes to watching content on their phone. Let me know in the comments, by the way, I'm curious, how many minutes or how many hours of video do you actually watch each day on your phone? Okay, so I'm going to fast forward through all this, and 1 hour has passed, and here are all the results. So iPhone 8, 15%, iPhone 8 Plus, 14%, iPhone 7 Plus, 4%, the Google Pixel XL, 22%, the S8, 37%, and the S7 Edge, 27%. So the S8 Plus is still in the lead, and it's still followed by the S7 Edge. But now just take a look at this. It seems that the Pixel XL has actually outperformed all the iPhones. So it's now at 22% versus the iPhone 8, which actually took the lead from the iPhone 8 Plus, which is interesting. So it took the lead again. And now at 50%, 8 Plus at 14%, and finally the iPhone 7 Plus is almost dead at 4%. So finally, I'm going to do one more test, and that's a gaming test. So I'm going to run Temple Run, the tutorial, which actually continues to play automatically even after you die. And I'm going to leave this running for 20 minutes, and I think 20 minutes is a fair amount of time when it comes to processor-intensive apps or processor-intensive tasks for an average user's device per day. Okay, so the iPhone 7 Plus, by the way, has already died, which is very surprising. I was expecting the iPhone 8, honestly, to die first, as it does have the smallest battery. So very surprising when it comes to the iPhone 7 Plus battery performance. So I'm going to fast forward quite a bit. And by the way, Samsung phones, they keep turning themselves off the display every 10 minutes, even when you're in a game. Now, luckily, this doesn't really happen with videos, so at least one test was a success. Okay, so 20 more minutes have passed, and these are the final results. So iPhone 8, 5%, iPhone 8 Plus, 4%, iPhone 7 Plus, this one's dead for a while. Google Pixel XL 13%, S8 Plus 32%, wow, and S7 Edge 21%. Wow. Okay, so in the end, which phone has the best battery life? Which phone won the test? Well, they all have different battery sizes and different display sizes and different display resolutions. But the winner here is the S8 Plus, followed by the S7 Edge, followed by the Google Pixel XL, the iPhone 8, now the iPhone 8 Plus, then it's the iPhone 8 Plus, and then it's the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, honestly, I think the S8 wins here by an even longer shot, just because it not only has the largest display of, all of these phones, but also the highest resolution display from all of these phones. And just from a design perspective, it's not that much larger than an iPhone 8 Plus, and yet it comes with a significantly larger display. And yes, it's even easier to hold in your hand since it's not as wide as an iPhone 8 Plus. Let me know in the comments, by the way, how's your battery life experience on your phone? And which phone do you currently have? And what do you think is the phone with the best battery life in general out of all the phones that I've used? This was pretty much it. In case you're wondering, by the way, why I'm talking so, what's the opposite of loud, so quietly, and why I'm so asleep, I've been awake for almost 24 hours, and I have a train to catch in 4 hours, so yeah, I'm pretty tired, but I really wanted to record this, so yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more interesting videos like this one. Also check out my other quick charging tests that I've done. And yeah, this has been pretty much it. Enable notifications if you want to see more videos as soon as they come out. Feel free to give us a like if you enjoyed it, let me know. I'm Daniel, and yeah, see you guys in my next one. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.